How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and Sprint has quite a few awesome Android handsets. You know, the Galaxy S2 is finally in the States, and the nation's third largest carrier is the first one to get it. Here it is, the Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. It's going up against the Motorola PHOTON 4G in this dogfight. Former top champion here just got dethroned on PhoneDog's top smartphone list by the Epic 4G Touch. Which one's really the best? Which one's the best for you? Which one offers the best combination of specs and features? We'll find out. But first, special thanks to my boys at Best Buy because they hook us up with phones like this that we give to you in the One Paw Bandit game. When you go ahead and get one of these at Best Buy Mobile, you won't deal with rebates, messy paperwork, waiting several weeks for your rebates. I hate that. I hate paperwork. I don't like waiting. I'm pretty impatient. So, and I'm sure you might be as well. You don't deal with it at Best Buy Mobile. And don't have to worry about mail-in rebates at Best Buy Mobile. Enough of that. Let's get So I want to start off part 2 of the video a little bit differently. Instead of going straight into the browser comparison, I want to show you, first of all, how the dialer looks on both of these devices and how different it looks. Again, same version of Android, 2.3.4, but because of those manufacturer-installed overlays, you see this dramatic difference that we have here. Now, subjective, I may love one, you may hate it. So take a look at both of these in store, but anyway, here's what they look like side by side. You have TouchWiz 4.0 over here, Motorola's UI over here, and you can see tabs at the top on both. On TouchWiz, you have keypad, logs, contacts, and favorites. And up here you have dialer, recent, contacts, and favorites. So both separated kind of island keys, so there is space in between the number pad, and then down here you have your shortcuts. Now one thing, after using the Epic 4G Touch for a couple of days when I was doing the review, one thing I did find particularly frustrating, I prefer to have the dial button in the middle because I found that when I dial a number, I dial Rick James, for example. I don't think I have him in here. Let's see, Billy Bob. There we go. And I were to hit send, it's just natural to go to the key in the middle, whereas with this I found myself dialing and then I go to hit the middle key and I end up sending a text message and I have to back out of that. So the placement of it is a little bit better on this one. But you have logs, contacts, favorites, and groups. So you have a couple different tab options up here. Now we can go take a look at contacts just because I want to show you how they look. And we'll go to Old Man just to do a comparison. Here's what they look like on their respective platforms. You have tabs up here, info, history, activities, and media. Then you have the picture on both of these, and you have the option to favorite the contact and still shortcuts to dial and to do messages. So this shows that I have some joined contacts. It shows the groups, the ringtone, the website, which it shows the website here as well. Now what I really like is history between the Old Man. So if I were to send text messages, I were to make a bunch of phone calls to the Old Man, that would all show up in history, which is a really nice touch because I can see, hey, when did I call last? When did I text message last? So on the organizational side, when it comes to contacts, when it comes to just general personal information management, the Epic 4G Touch and TouchWiz 4.0 wins. Now before we go into the browser, I want to show you some of the widget options because you have Motorola widgets, you have Android widgets, but I want to show you on TouchWiz 4.0 how it's changed. You see that the drawer down here is a little bit different. You have your widgets, your shortcuts, your wallpapers, and your folders, but you don't have it in this typical looking Android menu. It's a little bit different. I can still scroll between my 7 home screens. And let's say I want to add a widget. We'll go to AP Mobile and see that it added right there. Now what I really like though is the ability to customize the widgets. TouchWiz 4.0 does allow you to customize the size of your widget, so it's no longer just a Motorola applications platform thing. So I can go in here, for example, go to date and time, let's say, and then we can customize this. And no longer is it considered just a Motorola thing, you can do it on TouchWiz as well. So huge improvement. You know how much I love those customizable widgets because let's be honest, you get a space like this, there's not a whole lot of space left on the main screen, but thanks to customizable widgets you could add some widgets you otherwise wouldn't be able to add in Sense because while the Sense widgets are beautiful, a lot of them are very big and they don't fit on the screen. So something to keep in mind there. So those are your widgets roundabout, and just look really quickly. We'll go back into widgets just to see what comes pre-installed on both of these. Let's go over here. You can see the Motorola widgets, a bunch of different toggles. I'm just going to scroll through so you can see how they look, and just again this different layout here for TouchWiz 4.0. Notice the animation, how cool that is, and again how smooth it is. No lag whatsoever. And then down here you have all your different Motorola stuff, social status, Wi-Fi toggles, world clock, weather, and more. So that gives you an idea of what comes pre-installed on both of these. Now let's do a browser test. Now it's finally time to move on to the browser test. And we'll go in here and we'll load up, make sure first of all, hopefully 4G is on. I did turn it off on this one. Okay, we'll turn that back on. Wait for it to load up because Sprint's 3G has been pretty abysmal lately. Their 3G is experiencing issue in a bunch of metro markets, Charlotte being one, Orlando being another that I had issues with, and Manhattan. Now some people have reported decent speeds. My speeds have been far from decent, so I've had to keep it on 4G just to get a decent connection. It took me 6 minutes to send a tweet on 3G the other day. So if you're moving from a carrier like Verizon, you're like, I really like one or both of these devices, give it the full test drive because the data speeds have been kind of struggling as of late. So just a fair disclaimer there. Sprint does say they're working on, or they do say they're working on the issue rather. So hopefully that'll be resolved in the near future. We'll go ahead and load up PhoneDog.com. And on top of that, I am speaking with them tomorrow. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm going to give them some network feedback and stuff that I've experienced here. But again, you know, I'm running on 4G right now. I ran some speed tests about an hour ago, and I was pulling speeds of about 1 to 1.5 megabits per second. That's 4G, that's WiMAX, and I'm literally in Center City, Charlotte. So definitely some frustrations, but PhoneDog's loading on both of these, and 4G is loading up, so we'll wait for it to pop up. And while we're waiting, I want to talk a little bit about the overall interface here. You can see the different menus. Go to Windows, and if you watch the Bionic and the Epic Touch Dogfight, you'll know what I'm talking about here. But I like the fact that this shows you a preview of where you leave off. So you zoom in really close to an article, you're like, I want to leave off here. You can open up a new window and know exactly where you left off when you get back. Whereas with this one, it just shows text. It doesn't show anything particularly exciting. So we'll go back to Windows, and we can see PhoneDog, and we can see the new page, but it doesn't give me anything more than that. But if I'm here, and I zoom in, and I'm like, I want to leave it right there, when I go to open up a new page, it'll leave it right there. Now you can see there's a little bit of checkerboarding, but you can see how smooth and buttery smooth this is. And again, because of that nice 4.52-inch display, this really makes for a great device when it comes to web browsing, comes to watching videos, doing anything media related. You're going to be really pleased with this device. I mean, the screen's absolutely gorgeous, and it's large too, which are two very cool things. Now there is this tilt ability, which I do like. It's pretty cool. You put both of your thumbs on the screen, you tilt the device in and out, and you can see I can zoom that way. So a cool little feature, but just again, take a look at how smooth it is. There's no lag whatsoever. Just incredibly smooth. Pinch to zoom, very responsive. And again, a little bit of checkerboarding, but still look how responsive that is. For an Android browser, that's absolutely phenomenal. Then over here, and it looks like I accidentally went back, we'll go to Ford and start it back up. And get PhoneDog loaded back up. Wait for it to fully load so we can get a fair comparison here. Again, landscape mode, and because, you know, you'll notice one difference. Look how blocky the transitions are. Now this Motorola applications platform, you can see they've integrated some transition effects into the browser and into some of the other areas of the device. So even though it's about the same time, or actually a little bit longer, on the transition front, it fools the eye into thinking it's a smooth transition, which makes it a little bit easier on the eyes and makes it look a little faster. So you can see pinch to zoom here, a little laggy. You do see a little bit of a catch, and you don't get the ability to press and hold and zoom in and out like you do on the Samsung Galaxy S2 series. But still, reasonably fast on both of these devices. You won't be disappointed, but in comparing the two, you can just see the speed difference between the browser. Let's take a look at Quadrant Standard and see which one loads up the quickest. We'll go to All Apps. We're going to go down here to Quadrant Standard. And we're going to do that test. And I'll talk a little bit about battery life as well. Now, actually, I'll talk about call quality first. Both of these devices have been great in the call quality department. The PHOTON, though, takes the cake in the call quality department because the wireless radio is absolutely phenomenal. Motorola is known for fantastic wireless radios, and this device is no exception. When I took it to a Sprint Dead Spotter, both of these devices, the Epic Touch does a good job, but the Motorola PHOTON 4G always prevailed. So if you're in an area, you know, you're going to Sprint, you're in an area where there's fringe service, and you need something with that absolute best wireless radio, the PHOTON 4G is going to be your device. Now with the Epic 4G Touch, again, a lot of amenities, and it still performs well, don't get me wrong. The earpiece on both of these, nice and loud. I've had no issues with callers. Speakerphone's nice and loud as well. But again, if you're in a really fringe area, I'd recommend the PHOTON 4G. 3,374 on Quadrant Standard for this sucker. So 3,374 on the UpTouch. And then over here waiting for this one to load. And I should have mentioned earlier, this has a 1,650 milliamp hour battery. And while this is loading, I actually do want to talk about that. 1,800 milliamp hour battery over here, which is larger than the original Galaxy S2. Sprint said that was because, or actually Samsung and Sprint said, because it was a larger display, they added a larger battery. I've been super pleased with battery life. You know, Android's known to have pretty bad battery life. And I'm able to make it through a day, actually with moderate use, pretty comfortably into a day on the UpTouch. So very, very good job. Kudos to Samsung for the bigger battery. With this one, 1,650, a little bit of a smaller display, but still that dual core does take its toll. By the time nighttime rolls around, 7, 8 o'clock, with moderate use, I'm definitely hitting the low end of the spectrum on this device. So, you know, something to keep in mind, again, if you're a battery person, the downside of this is this thing takes for freaking ever to charge. So it takes hours and hours and hours to charge, whereas this one takes less time. So if you're one of those people like me that lives off the 15, 20-minute charge, PHOTON's going to be your device. I know that's kind of conflicting, but it depends on what you use your device for the most. 2,446 over here. So with a score of 3,374, you can see how that compares. And one other thing I want to cover is the display technology. Super AMOLED Plus over here, QHD over here with Pentile display technology, or Pentile technology rather. And you know, Pentile is known for being pixelated. I'm going to bring this in so you can see how pixelated this screen actually is. It is a noticeable difference. Let me see if I can get it really close so you can take a look at the signal strength indicator. Take a look at that 4G icon that just popped up in the battery meter. You can see that pixelation where the green is. Now take a look at this, and you can see how black the blacks are. The hues look great, and you can see, wait for it to zoom in. Let me see if I can get it to zoom in a little faster there. There we go. You can see much less pixelation. I actually don't notice any pixelation on this device. So it is noticeable when you're holding these side by side and you're looking at them. You can definitely see the pixelation. You can kind of see it actually on this wallpaper right now, and I hope that comes over on the video. But definitely, you know, frustration. The benefit to Pentile is it is a brighter display technology that preserves battery life. Now that said, battery life's been better for me on this one, despite being a larger display, and there's no pixelation. So on the screen front, Touch wins that as well. Now last but not least, let's do a speed test before we sign off, because I want to show you Sprint's 4G speeds. Now I'm in Center City, Charlotte right now. My office is literally in the middle of the city, so you would expect 4G service to be pretty decent right here. I'm right beside a window. I'm not too far into the building. I know, you know, WiMAX doesn't do particularly well when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I want to show you some of the speed issues that I've had, and we're going to go ahead and load up speed test on this one as well. Let me wait for 4G to be located. Okay, speed test loaded up on both of these devices. 4G, let's go ahead and kick it on. It looks like 4G went to sleep over here, but we're going to start the test just to see if it kicks on. 3G, there we go, perfect. And so 4G over here is what I want to show you. These are the 4G speeds. Keep in mind Verizon's LTE pulls anywhere from 5 to 12. Actually, in my office I get about 22 megabits per second regularly with the Motorola Droid Bionic. So LTE there. This is WiMAX, and again, I'm in a building, but there's a window right here, so the penetration shouldn't be too bad. 1.01 megabits per second on 4G. Over here, 0.50 megabits per second. So you can see these 4G speeds just really aren't impressive, and again, Center City, Charlotte, you would think in the city they would be pretty decent. Same thing when I test them home in my home office, when I tested them around the city. These are roughly the speeds that I get, and let's kick off 4G actually on the Photon, because I want to show you what kind of speeds you're going to deal with. And 3G, I mean, truthfully, actually I'll show you the results right now. Here's some 3G speeds from earlier on the Touch. We'll go back here and you can see 001, 0.030, 0.007, absolutely terrible speeds, and it's frustrating because these devices are data driven. I get that this is a dogfight between the devices, but unfortunately the carrier is something that comes with these devices. You know, email, tweets, widgets, all that stuff is data driven, and if you don't have a good data connection, well, it kind of frustrates or, you know, kind of ruins the experience of the phone. So for 3G, I've been keeping mine on 4G, but if you're in an area that's 3G only, make sure that your signal is pretty decent and that your data connection is good, because with these speeds, it took me, like I said, about 6 minutes to send a tweet. It took me, you know, the other day, it took me 2.5 minutes if I timed it right to update the weather widget. I mean, these are minor things that shouldn't take that long at all. So something to keep in mind. But all in all, you know, both great devices, but a winner has to be declared in the dogfight, and the winner goes to the Samsung Epic 4G Touch. It's by far the best Android device on the market right now, not just on Sprint, but across the board. Samsung did a killer job with this phone. I loved it when it was the Galaxy S2. They made it even better with this one, with a larger display, a bigger battery, and more. So it's nice to see it on a U.S. carrier. It's nice that you can go out and buy it for $200 as opposed to spending $700 and trying to buy it unlocked. You can get it subsidized now. It's coming to AT&T and coming to T-Mobile. So a great device. Happy to see it on a U.S. carrier, and the Epic 4G Touch is the winner of the dogfight. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both of these devices, but let me know what you think. You think the Photon should have won? You think the Touch is the best handset ever? Let me know. Follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our greatest tech giveaway ever, because we're giving you the opportunity to win tablets on Facebook. All you have to do is like our page at Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Enter it clicking the sweepstakes button on the Facebook page. Follow it, and you'll be good to go. That's easy as that. Greatest tech giveaway ever, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage. I'll see you next time, guys.